That was a good salad. Who's going to do the dishes?
Hi, I'm Ho Shen Ho. I'm living in Vancouver, BC, Canada, unceded territory of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I'm an immigrant to Canada from China.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea coming to you from Victoria, but more importantly known as unceded Akwesasne territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations, and I am an immigrant from the United States of America.
Welcome to Dishes Out. We're here to respond to ridiculous comments, the naysayers, and the negative stereotypes.
Yes, we're not going to let harmful and hateful comments have the last word. We're dishing it out, spilling the tea, and breaking down the words that divide, harm, and hurt.
So join us every Friday for a new episode.
Dishes out. Here we are. We're back, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, and none of you that might not be ladies or gentlemen, and everyone in between.
And everyone in between, exactly.
Yes, exactly. We're here back with the dishes out. We're dishing it out because people are saying comments about things that they're just saying things, Hoshin, on TikTok. This is the farmland of frivolous thoughts. I could have said something else, but with an F, but I didn't. So, anyway.
Well, we posted like a TikTok about our podcast about this white man about complaining about why life matter, and of course we're gonna dish out on that comment as well. And then that this person, I would say is a gentleman, decided to leave a comment on that TikTok and saying, quote, Chinese didn't build China, English didn't build England, Indians didn't build India, Canadians that happen to be white build Canada, end of quote. That's the comment. This comment is very loaded because there's a lot
super loaded.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions on that. Chinese didn't build China. It really depends of what do you mean by China. And also built, the word built is a bit interesting to hear. Yeah. Since what's the time frame? Starting from when we decided to, okay, this period to this period is when the China of building commence. China has been occupied by many different people. Once upon a time, the Mongolians were taking over it during the Yuan Dynasty. There's it's not even Han Chinese. The Chinese nowadays, we believe, mostly are Han Chinese. But throughout history, actually, there's like Qing Dynasty, which is the most current, the last dynasty, was they're Manchuan, they're not Han. No, China, in many ways, it's not built by Chinese per se.
Yeah.
It's many ethnic groups have been participating in the building of that.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that this person really has a beef with the fact that we're saying, because I think in the clip, we said that it wasn't, because the comment that the clip was about how Justin Trudeau was paying immigrants to come to Canada and take over our jobs and all this stuff. And that's why white lives matter, because there's no more white people anymore and their rights are being taken away, blah, 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 blah. So the fact that this person feels like it's within their right, which it's free country, whatever. But the fact that they're like Canadians that happen to be white built Canada in the context of Chinese didn't build Canada. Like this person does not know their history. They don't know how anything came about. Like even for a while, many parts of England, a lot of the parliament buildings, a lot of churches were built by slaves.
Exactly.
Were built by indentured servants. England had the indentured servanthood down. There was a huge classism. Even in India, like there was probably similar to China, there were different people who came to the continent or to the country of India who had stakes and this land and whatever. British came there and decided to do what they wanted to do with India. And the reality is like Canadians, like again, that even what a Canadian is, that's a totally loaded term. But are we neglecting the enslavement of African and Caribbean people? Are we forgetting the fact that we told people, and specifically Chinese people, hey, come to this land called Canada and you can work and everything, like the Trans-Canada National Railroad, that was all Chinese laborers. Sure, there were European-centric people building that as well. But to say that Canadians that happen to be white built Canada, brother,
False.
no. Nuh-uh. Y'all had your feet up You had your feet up, you were sipping your scotch or your whiskey or whatever, and you were given orders. You were not lifting fingers, sir. And still, so much of like agricultural, a lot of the trades, while there are a lot of white Canadians doing that, there are also a lot of immigrants and people of color who are doing that because white Canadians have this idea that my privilege makes me so that I can just be like a YouTuber and I'm not going to do these hardworking jobs because I don't want to do these hardworking jobs. This isn't to say that white Canadians don't work hardworking jobs. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that white Canadians feel like they have an entitlement to work the non-dirty job, right?
Yes.
And so they don't.
And I think also this kind of this kind of conversation about like, oh, white people built whatever, or why American built America, why Canadian built Canada. And I think it's important for people to understand that actually white people didn't build anything in many ways, because even the current day kind of Western country, most Western countries' wealth, you think you build it, but you build it or you have it on the back of many not white people. Like you are literally, your money is made because many people did not make any money. Your phone, your clothes, your food, all the concrete or steel that you have on your roads, because it's literally built on the backs of many lives and bones and blood.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So in many ways, you didn't build you didn't build anything. You literally just squeeze other people that are not from there, that are not white, most of them. You just squeeze the blood out, squeeze the labor out, and then you drink it and you think you make everything happen. You didn't. A lot of your wealth are not, I would say, not really honest labor.
No. And I think there is an element that there are a lot of blue collar workers that within maybe more, I think of the coal mines, right? In Canada, I think of just smaller communities where maybe European settlers came and they worked very hard for very little. And I see this in the States too, where capitalism has this idea that if you have the poor white man think about his conditions, then what he will do is all begin to say that this isn't fair. I should be giving the same treatment. So what does colonialism do? It says it's not the rich people that are treating you this way or not giving you an upper hand. It's those immigrants, right? Yeah. And it is this narrative of if you can remind the white poor person that it's not the wealthy that is creating these issues, but it's the immigrants, then it keeps that white poor person against the immigrant. And it keeps those signs coming up like White Lives Matter. They're taking away our jobs because all of a sudden there hasn't been that equality even for predominantly poor white Canadians or even white Americans, right? And so that's the narrative to get immigrants. All that hate and discrimination is because there is that classism and there is just that poverty mindset, right? Which a lot of wealthy people like to continue narrating so that they can stay in power. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, immigrant did not take a job. Capitalism did. Not immigrant.
Yeah. Yeah. There is a certain morality when if you're a millionaire, billionaire, is that really ethical? I feel like that is a conversation that we really need to at some point unpack socially, because the fact that someone is allowed to be that wealthy while other people
that much resource,
are not,
yeah.
Right?
I also think the existence of billionaires is unethical. I also agree with the sentiment there. And also go back to like white Canadian building Canada.
Right.
I think that it's just a threat there. There's a shared commonality there. The unethical existence of billionaire and then white people thinking that white Canadian built Canada. I think there's overlap there morally that Indigenous or other immigrants
Like
that come
this is
here
ours, right?
Yeah, that have put down generations of labor into making this country what it is right now. And that's just for you to claim all that credit. It's just, again, not more like morally wrong.
It is. Because guess what? There were economies and there were governments that were doing just fine here before white settlers came, before white colonials came. Exactly. You look at any country that's been colonized and how much was built before the colonizers came, and it's incredible.
And also, even they think we civilized them. Think about when the British or the French colonizer came here. they also rely on a lot of indigenous people to guide them through the land and teach them the way
They
of
didn't know
living.
jack
And
shit. They
they
didn't know
do not.
anything.
They didn't know
They're-
anything.
Their mere existence, the fact that they were alive, was only because of the knowledge shared by indigenous people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think I heard a comedian, it was like when I think Christopher Columbus makes his first expedition and he said, if we could do it any other way, don't let those people off the boat. Just don't do it. Because whatever already existed here was going to be totally annihilated. And it was.
Yeah.
Again, we're not...
Ooh.
Yeah. So anyway, Mr. Person, just do your history. And I think I even responded to this person. I said, obviously, you don't know Canadian history. And their response was, what was the majority demographic of people in Canada before 1970s? And I said, the demographic makeup of a country does not determine who built the country.
Exactly.
If there's mostly white people, doesn't mean that it was mostly white people who built the country just because they're the ones demographically represented. Again, you don't know your history. You don't know anything.
Also,
Anyway.
he put a time period there. What about the country just appear suddenly on that time? Yeah, just boom, exists. No, you can't say that.
No. And I think 1970 was around the time when there was like the immigration laws expanded a bit. I think it was like 1976 or something like that, where we start seeing the Multiculturalism Act. We start seeing the pathways for immigration expanding to non-European countries. But that is not... doesn't mean that just because immigration was open to specifically European countries doesn't mean that it was Europeans who built Canada. Anyway.
Well, for
there you go.
our listener, there you go, listeners. At least we taught you some of the history there.
Yes.
At least you're not this person who lived this ignorant, in many ways very ignorant comment there. Yes. So you're welcome.
You're welcome. And keep them coming, everyone. And let us know. There's a lot of things we need to unpack. This, again, single-sided story. And this is where Canadian Salad exists, because there's multiple stories and multiple perspectives that we need to be championing. So
leave us a comment, good or bad. We'd love them coming. Maybe share our podcast to your grandma, to your grandpa, to the uncle that is like very conservative and bigot. Share this with them. And then ask them to leave a comment. We love that.
Exactly. And we'll respond, and we'd love to hear your feedback. So do let us know. We'll talk to you next Friday with another Sassy Dishes Out. And thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye. Canadian Salad is written and produced in British Columbia, Canada by Hoshin Ho and Andrea McCoy. Theme music is by Naver Avidyan from Pixabay.
I like oranges with my